There are several reasons why individuals do not succeed in life. And I'm going to talk about one of them on tonight. I'm Tyrone Bowman, and welcome to Inspirational Motivational Teaching on Tyrone Bowman Tonight. Before I tell you tonight's topic, I want to say this. If you haven't subscribed to Tyrone Bowman Tonight, if you happen to like what you hear, and if you like the content, if you like the messages, if you like the profiles that we do and all of the information that we present, would you kindly hit the like button? Would you also subscribe to Tyrone Bowman Tonight? And also, I will be, hopefully, once I get a new computer and etc., that I'll be able to bring on guests and things of that nature so that we can really engage in serious conversation with men and women from all walks of life. So until then, I'm going to do the best that I can. Thank you for hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Now, tonight I want to talk about something that I know for a fact that individuals are doing to themselves. And it causes them not to be able to achieve their goals. Yes, there's a lot going on in the world, but can I tell you something? Rich people are getting richer. The politicians are becoming more corrupt. Entrepreneurs are creating things at an alarming rate. Gentrification is flourishing throughout the nation and neighborhoods that we once called the hood or homes. So the question is, what are you and I going to do about living our best life now, achieving our goals in this life, so that posterity for our families can be there long after we're gone off the face of the earth? There comes a point in time we have to be tired. You got to be tired of being tired. So I'm talking about the topic tonight, no limitations. Too many individuals are allowing themselves to be limited about what they can be, do, and have in life. When you stop listening to negative thinking, speaking, acting, doing people, and start realizing that your dreams, your goals, your plans, and your hopes can be achieved, the doors of opportunity will present themselves to you. The doors of prosperity will open for you. You'll be able to go places where you never dreamed you could go. You'll be able to do things that you never dreamed that you can do, and you'll be able to live a lifestyle that you never even dreamed of. This is not wishful thinking. This is not hocus pocus talk here. This is reality. If you and I are willing to do what it takes to achieve and succeed, if we're willing to study, research, take the time to do the hard work that it takes to labor, then we can be just as prosperous as anybody else. There's a quote that, you're welcome, Ed. Thank you. There's a quote that I'm going to quote right now from Think and Grow Rich, and quote, "There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge." Close quote. Quote, "There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge." When you allow your environmental surroundings, when you allow circumstances and situations to lock your mind to a point where you say you can't, then guess what? You won't. If you tell yourself that you're defeated, you're already defeated. If you tell yourself these things within your own mind, if you tell yourself these things, after a while, you will begin to speak them out of your own lips. And this is what millions upon millions of my people are doing. Yes, I'm talking as an inspirational, motivational teacher to my people, because I want to see my people be blessed and prosperous and succeed and rise above the circumstances and situations and the mundane positions in life. We can be, do, and have anything that other people are being and doing and having in this life. When you let people tell you that you can't succeed, you won't succeed. When you let them tell you that you're limited, then you are limited. And when you begin to tell yourself that you are limited, then you won't be able to succeed. The word limited is defined as, now listen, restricted in size, amount or extent, few, small, or short. Restricted in size, amount, or extent, few, small, or short. This is how many people already think within their minds. They think small things. They're restricted in their own mind. They have self-imposed boundaries and limitations. They won't let me. Who is they? They are not the consensus. They don't have the monopoly on financial success and health prosperity. They can't tell you that you can't have health, happiness, success, love, joy, peace, and prosperity in this life. They cannot tell you because of the pigmentation of your skin that you can't be a real estate investor. They are the ones who are spreading and the peddlers of doubt and fear and worry, distrust. They are the ones who are sowing the seeds of discord, racism, and bigotry and prejudice in the world. Why? Because it keeps them in power. It causes them to have longevity in politics. It causes them to have think tanks. It causes them to have these cushy jobs in Congress, in the Senate. It causes them to allow their communities to flourish. It causes them to take the same Constitution that you and I have a right to and try to use it against you. The Constitution is neither black nor white. The Constitution, they are words. They are powerful words that have been penned and scribed to last throughout infinity. You and I have the opportunity to utilize the Constitution to our advantage. What you don't know will hurt you. There's a saying that goes that ignorance is no excuse to break the law. Meaning, whether you know what the law says or not, if you are accused of and committed an alleged crime, and you stand before the prosecutor and ultimately the judge, they will say ignorance is no excuse. So why become ignorant when you and I have the Constitution as a model, as a guide, that we can learn, read, dissect, and interpret for ourselves? Why do you think when individuals are aspiring for higher offices, especially on the Supreme Court, they ask them, do you view the Constitution as a dead document or a living document? Because if you view it as a dead document, then in other words, what is already ascribed in there cannot be changed. If you view it as a living document, meaning it is continually evolving. That's what amendments is for. Meaning they've been added on to, they weren't a part of the original Constitution. So when we restrict ourselves within our own minds, limit ourselves within our own minds, think small thoughts within our own minds, you're already defeated. Because you don't believe that you can do it. The word limited is also defined as restricted, finite, little, narrow, tight, lean, slight, slender, in short supply, meager, scanty, sparse, insubstantial, deficient, inadequate, insufficient, paltry, poor, miserly, basic, rudimentary, patchy, sketchy, minimal, cramped. These are some of the words, adjectives and non-adjectives, nouns and pronouns, that describe what the word limited means. Don't you know that during the pandemic, millionaires and billionaires were thriving and some were created? During the pandemic, when many people got the PPL loans, whatever they want to call them, tax-free, employers applied for and received a lot of money during the pandemic. Yet too many individuals keep limiting themselves as to what they can do in life. One of the main reasons why when I come on camera and I come looking the way I do, because I want to show people what prosperity can look like. We're supposed to be looking good, feeling good, talking good, living good, and acting good. I'm not coming on camera looking like trash and garbage. There was a mobster. Listen to this story. I've told it many times before, and I'm going to tell it tonight. There was a mobster who had an idea about building a casino. One of a kind. He had his driver to take him to the desert. And he left him there, and he said, I'll find my way back home. He stayed there all day long looking at the sun. And as the sun was setting, he had a vision or an apparition, they would say. In the church world, they call it an open vision, meaning that his senses were keen to the spiritual world as well as the natural world. And this is what he saw. He saw cities. He saw a city. He saw a town filled with hotels, filled with stores, filled with places where men and women could come and they could gamble and they could live and they could move. And he went back and spoke to the consortium. And he told them about his vision. And they asked for a certain amount of money to be loaned to them. And he guaranteed that when they opened up on Christmas Day, they would get their money back. They agreed. They loaned him the money. And he built the first hotel. And it's still standing to this day. He built the first hotel. But the problem was, when Christmas Day came, the weather was bad. It was very rainy. So a lot of people didn't come out. And by these distinguished gentlemen not being patient, they didn't get the investment upon their return. And let's just say, he was never heard of again. But after his disappearance, they discovered that they made a mistake. He was right after all. That apparition, that vision, and that city that he envisioned is called Las Vegas. This came from the mind of a gangster. And today, Las Vegas is one of the most flourishing, prospering places in America. And it came from the mind of a gangster. If he could envision that within his mind, what can you and I envision within ours? My assignment, my mission, my objective, my goal is to inspire and to motivate men and women to start believing in themselves, start believing in the God in you, start believing in faith in you, start believing in the possibility of now, the possibility of hope, the possibility of prosperity. Don't allow the circumstances and situations, no matter how dismal they may have been from the past. Everybody goes through a hard time in life. Disappointments, rejection, heartache, pain, unexpected circumstances and situations arise. Some of the most successful people in the world have been in prison. Richard Milhouse Nixon left Washington, D.C. in a disgrace because of Watergate after he resigned, Watergate rather, But 25 years after his departure, he was welcomed back into Washington, D.C. as an elder statesman because time redeemed him. Charles Colson, one of Nixon's men, went to prison and came out and founded an international prison ministry. Many individuals in life, society will say that you're worthless, you're trash, you're garbage, you're no good because you have a prison record. That is a bunch of hogwash. The only reason why a lot of politicians aren't in prison is because they know how to work the system. And they know how to use it to advantage to get out of trouble. Stop telling yourself what you can't do. Stop telling yourself what you can't be. Stop telling yourself what you can't have. Remove those self-imposed limitations off your mind. Lack, want, disparity, I can't. Don't even allow that to come out of your vocabulary. Let yourself know that you can. And guess what? You will. If you start telling yourself that you can do it, guess what? You're going to do it. You may, and for some of us, it may take a little longer. Everybody doesn't arrive at the same place at the same time. All destinations of flights don't land at the same time. All airplanes don't take off at the same time, and all airplanes don't land at the same time. But yet they do land. Stop measuring yourself based upon what someone else has done, and do what you can do. Study the lives of the greatest entrepreneurs who have ever lived. Don't just study how much money they made. Study the good, the bad, and the ugly. Study every aspect of a person's life. And ladies and gentlemen, when you begin to remove self-imposed limitations off of your mind, then you're going to begin to rise up in ways that you never dreamed of. Remember this quote from the late Napoleon Hill: "There are no limitations to the mind except those we acknowledge." Quote, close quote. I'm Tyrone Bowman.